Seems like it's all getting down to the wire now. These podcasts are going to get more and more intense on the days that I feel like doing them because, honestly, I feel kind of checked out at this point. You've been given multiple chances to do the right thing, and you've consistently chosen your pride. Somebody shows up, not just saying the exact same things that the namesake of your religion said, but going in and breaking apart everything they said and updating it so that it can be explained in the modern context, and you turned a blind eye. You didn't listen. You chose not to listen. You instead went and listened to charlatans spin happy stories about the namesake of your religion instead of trying to understand a single goddamn thing they were talking about. If you're a Christian, you worship stories. Not even the story of Jesus. Stories your friends, your peers come up with about Jesus. That's what you worship. The same rule applies to all religions. You saw someone speaking truth, and instead of doing the right thing and standing beside them, and standing up for truth and reality, what did you do? You got an attitude. You decided to fight and you decided to compete. To compete against someone you knew was telling the truth. You knew the right thing to do. And what did you do? What did you do? You saw someone being brave, risking everything to speak the truth, and you went and congregated with a bunch of cowards and decided to be an obstacle to someone you knew was speaking the truth. I have made I've taken or gone to no great length to hide all of the work, all the sacrifice that has gone into this journey, into this path. I've made it's been no secret. This has been struggle, hard work, thankless work, only to be plotted against by cowards. Only to be plotted against by cowards and hated for doing what is correct. You saw someone speaking the truth. You did not stand beside them. That was a choice you made. You saw someone trying to build a mountain, trying to build a house. You knew the right thing to do, and what did you do? You let a bunch of cowards trend you into trying to tear it down. You knew the right thing to do, and you didn't do it. You knew the right thing to do, and you didn't do it. You were given multiple opportunities to assist. What did you do? You didn't assist. You tried to delay and derail. And when I say that you know what the right thing is, see, you don't have a choice in knowing the right thing, because reality itself, through what little faculty of intuition you actually have still engageable, has been screaming to you. You know who this is. You understand what's happening here. Do the right thing. Reality itself has been telling you, do the right thing. What do? You think you can cancel someone for speaking the truth of reality, and instead go listen to and congregate with people who say things you would rather hear. You listen to what you want to hear over reality. That is a choice you made. It's a choice you made. You decided you were going to keep competing. You wanted to keep gaming. No one's going to make you stop. No one's going to make you do what you don't want to do. Again, reality is like a body. What body can afford to have a bunch of ignorant free radicals running around, not taking instructions from the body, not functioning or operating or being in theme with a general purpose, just making messes everywhere, expecting the body to clean up behind it? Can your body afford to have those sorts of life forms just roaming around, ignorant to everything they do and all the impacts they make? Of course you're a corrupt life form. But the thing is, you chose corruption. You chose it. You were given all the tools. Oh my God. Do you know how long it takes to write the pieces that I've written? Do you know how the level of concentration it takes to go that deep into peering through the avatar perspective to translate principles into the English language to you? Do you have any idea the toll it's taken on me physically? Just for you to ignore all the work that's gone into trying to help you because you would rather listen to people say what you want to hear? Of course you're not getting into heaven. You're not going to even make it into hell. And those of you who've done the most to create this circumstance, the worst thing in existence awaits you. And it's getting worse by the millisecond. Like exponentially worse by the millisecond. Like you did this. You chose it. You were given all the tools, all the explanations. What did you do? What did you do? Is it your fault you were born into this circumstance? No. It is not your fault you were born into this circumstance. Reality understands it's not your fault that you were born into this circumstance, which is why it sends one of its agents along to help give you the fairest chance possible But at the end of the day, you have to choose reality or corruption. You were told, if you keep self-idealizing, you're moving in the direction of corruption. If you keep competing, you're moving in the direction of corruption. I understand these things are addictive, but they still represent choices you make. In order to overcome addictions to anything, you have to fucking try. You have to try. You made no effort to get better. And the worst part about it is, not only did you choose to not get better yourself, you've tried to stop me from helping other people get better. That is a crime against reality itself. You're competing against reality because of your pride. All of you little cowards out there who've been in your little rumor mills trying to turn people against me and stuff like that, none of it's been missed. None of it's been missed. All that, I don't know about that guy. I think he might be having some mental health issues or stuff like that. If you were even remotely honest, with yourself, you would have surmised that I've been in good mental health this entire time. If you were even remotely honest, you chose to block out what was inconvenient to your inner story and to your pride, and to listen to things that more appealing to your vanity. This is all you're doing. I told you, I am hosting an entity. Everything that happens to this body happens to this entity. Any person remotely involved in anything that happens, it is considered a direct assault against reality itself. Every time I get sick, whoever's responsible for anything that came in my path to get me sick, whether you're part of a group of people who came up with illnesses and spread them around, if you benefited from it in any way, shape, or form, you are part of what happened. If you can't make messes in reality and not clean them up, because if reality has to clean up behind you, then guess what? It's going to charge you its rate. It's more than you could possibly hope to bear. It's something you could never hope to pay. Interest alone is more than your wellspring of potential, and it doesn't matter how long it takes your wellspring of potential to reproduce before it gets sucked dry again, to offset all the imbalances you've caused and contributed to. You will pay what you owe. People will lead you to corruption. This past week, I got sick. I think I got the flu. I hate getting sick. Now I hate getting sick for a completely different reason. I hate getting sick because whoever's responsible for this vessel getting ill or breaking down prematurely in any way, shape, or form, it's just horrific. Like y'all were born into a circumstance where you were part of a mess-making system. That is diametrically opposed to reality. You were trained to be a narcissist. You were trained to be competitive. You were trained to be a parasite. You're being a parasite, which is how you make it in society. But you're also being a parasite, which is how you get in trouble with reality. Agents of corruption. You're fucked. You're given all the tools, and you consistently choose pride over everything. You know the right thing to do. And instead of listening to reality, instead of listening to what little intuition is making it through, you're choosing to stick with your pride. And you will pay dearly. Every single thing I endure through, even the physical toll it takes on me to use the avatar perspective in order to translate principles into English, through all of the fucking ridiculousness, through all of the ridiculousness of these angry, aggressive parasites coming after me. It all gets charged back to you as a species. In gradation, obviously, from high-level assailant to low-level assailant. It's a spread. I probably could have said that better, but it's just reality is the perfect accountant. It's distributed evenly. Not in terms of not equitably, in terms of the negative impacts you've made, caused and contributed to, versus what you've done to offset those negative impacts. All that shit gets charged to you. Reality is mechanical. It does not care about what you think is fair. It doesn't care about your backstory. It doesn't care about what you've been through in your past trauma or any of those other things. It doesn't give a fuck. You knew the right thing to do. You saw the right thing to do, and you chose to do the wrong thing. You chose to do the corrupt thing. You chose to do the laziest thing. And you will have your reward. Looks like we got a comment. Ashbro comes in. Does it mean that it could be considered immoral to have children because they're being born into a mess? No. You can have children. As a matter of fact, as long as you are not perpetuating corruption, having children can be considered a good thing. I mean, like within moderation, obviously. But, I mean, here's the thing. This world is a huge fucking mess. It's a mess. You get out here and you decide that you're going to help create people who are going to help clean up this mess. And you start priming them and grooming them and helping them come to understand reality and develop cognizance for balance. Then, as long as they are helping to reverse the negative impacts that have been made on this planet by this species, there's nothing wrong with that. Something that Something that I truly dislike is this false narrative that is in circulation where it says the overpopulation is causing all the problems in the world. No, it's not. Globalization, corporatization is causing all the problems. It's like we're sitting here and you have all these people who are trying to become millionaires and billionaires, and they're unleashing all this new technology, and they're just polluting, trying to what percent? It's some ridiculous. It was some ridiculous amount of food that's produced goes into the trash because corporations are like, hey, if we're not profiting off of it, then no one's going to get it. All of the furniture that's produced for human consumption that never gets sold, it goes into the trash. Why? Because someone's like, hey, if we can't profit off of it, no one can have it. Vehicles. These corporations, these entities, they produce so much pollution. They produce so much garbage and refuse and destroy the entire planet trying to benefit the parasites that are hoping to just capture value from society for sport, collect money for sport. They're creating the imbalances in the world, the lion's share of the imbalances. And they're trying to kill a good majority of the species right now so they can continue consuming unconsciously, capturing resources, trying to win a fucking game. They know they're wrong. What do? They turn around and they blame it on the species. Look at what we're doing, humans. We need to cut down the greenhouse gas emissions and all these other things. We need to stop driving these fossil fuel cars. Shut the fuck up. You're making the majority, your nuclear plants. It's not just the fossil fuel burning and driving the car, the refining, so that you all can win your little game of who has the most resources. Blaming the species. Blaming the species for what's being done by the corporations. Terrible. And you know you're wrong. And you know you're wrong and you're doing it anyway. It was this what was that? It was a Jane Elliott seminar. And there's this entitled little white girl who threw a temper tantrum, who started trying to speak over Jane Elliott. And she was having one of her little meltdowns. Oh, poor me, my fragility. And Jane Elliott, she gets up and she walks out of the room. Jane Elliott, as she was trying to make her way back into the room, Jane Elliott was like, nuh-uh, no. You don't come in here until you apologize to every person of color in this room because you just exercised a right that they don't have. You see, you heard something you don't like and you got up and you walked out. But if they don't like being mistreated because they're black or brown or whatever, they can't just stop. And she was like, you're going to apologize for what you did. And she's like, I'm sorry because, of racism and other stuff. She was like, no, you're going to apologize for what you did. Can't deflect away from it. And that's exactly what corporations do when they try to blame humanity for what they're doing. Oh, there are too many people on the planet. we're causing all the pollution. No, the people who are manufacturing products and transmuting natural effects in order to create things to build wealth off of, they are destroying the planet. They are destroying the planet. You don't get to just pass the buck. And again, we were all born into this circumstance, so it's like I understand what it is, but I mean, what's a good example? What's a good analogy? If we were born into, I don't know, gang territory, you know what I'm saying? And everybody was, you know what I'm saying? It was, they were out here set tripping and whatnot. Let's say you were born into the Bloods of the Crips. Yeah, it's not your fault you were born into that circumstance, but you can look around and pay attention to the fact that they pay attention to the impact that culture has on the lives of everyone there and make a decision and say, no, I don't want any part of this. You know what? Fuck gang culture. Let me try and build my hood back up. Let me try and restore my people. Now, if you stick with the gaming part, then it's just, hey man, we got to get ours. We got to get, they took from us. We got to take from them. Compete. You trying to be the best gangster. You trying to be the best soldier. The circumstance you were born into. Now, if you're honest and you're synced up with reality, you're like, man, I done lost way too many people to this. I done seen babies get killed. I done seen people's families get shot up. All this for nothing. We ain't made no progress. We destroyed this entire place around us. We got to we got to stop this shit. But most people just want to keep playing. Most people just want to keep the gaming up. Again, parasites, they're trapped in perpetual gaming mode. The parasite will choose the game. It will choose the contest, the competition over reality. It'll choose the identity, the character it's trying to be over reality. People who are synced up with reality, they're like, yo. People who are synced up with reality are like, yo, hey, we got to stop. Look at all this stupid game we're playing. Look at all the messes we've made. Look at this shit. And then, you know, if you synced up with reality and you have that aha moment and you're like, yo, I'm done playing this stupid game. Let me get to work restoring my hood. Then you got stupid, ignorant parasites that's like, oh, he think he better than us. Let's compete against him. That's what it's like. Unfortunately, people who do that to an avatar, they're not going up against a man. They're going up against a thing performing through a man. And if you're still trapped in gaming mode and you bring that stupid gaming energy to the entity performing through me, it's like, oh, you want to compete? I'm going to make it so that you can never compete again. I'm going to destroy you, and I'm going to do it in a place that there is no coming back from. See, when you're in the material realm, at least you have an opportunity to reverse the negative impacts you made before you have to face reality in the sorting process in the principal realm of existence. Once it's over there, it's done. You can choose to stick with the game if you want to. You can be a real G all the way out of here. But every single thing you've done, especially everything you've done that's even remotely connected to bringing any sort of malice to this entity, transferring your rage into this entity, it's going to crush it's going to crush you in ways I feel bad for you for what's going to happen to you. And I'm telling you shit that you already understand. You know this isn't a game. You know this isn't a joke. It's not a delusion. It's not a... You picked a fight with a fucking meta being out of pride. You let Satan, corruption, trick you into thinking that you're fit to knuckle up against meta beings? You went and listened to your little friends tell you to be disrespectful? How the fuck do you think this ends? I know that you're caught up in living your best life and you don't give a shit and the only thing that you want is money, money, money and all those other things. The whole economic system is on the verge of collapse anyway. But you've made messes that you haven't even bothered to address yet, that you will have to fucking pay for. Where do you think those messes are going to go? All of your attitude right now, how do you think this plays out? Really, I'm asking for real. How do you think this plays out? Nobody made you do it. Nobody made you do it. I came to you as a brother. I came to you as a friend. I took all the heat. I took all the L's. You let me walk this out solo. I had a handful of people step up and do what they could. But for the most part, y'all let me walk this out solo. You saw somebody doing the right thing. And you decided to fucking compete like a goddamn jagaloon. For no reason other than your pride. You saw someone doing the right thing. And you decided to try to block them. I'm exhausted trying to make it in this world after having my entire shit stripped away from me. Still having to do this, having to take care of my little boy with special needs. Go through all the ups and downs, the highs and lows of emotionally unstable people using me as something to release their rage into. I thugged it out. I kept my frame of reference intact. I did the fucking work. I showed up even when there's nothing in me. Even though I didn't even want to shoot tonight. I showed up. I showed up. You saw me show up. You knew the right thing to do. And did you do it? No. You come to me trying to compete for attention or compete for authority. You knew the right thing to do and you didn't do it. So when this axe drops, I don't want to hear shit. As a matter of fact, I don't want to hear shit. I don't say, for any person watching this, don't say shit about how much you love Jesus. No, you don't. I don't want to hear it. No, you don't. Jesus damn sure doesn't love you. You chose Satan. You chose Satan. Because Satan appealed to your pride. Don't sing any Christmas carols. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear, oh, I'm blessed and highly favored. Shut the fuck up. No, you're not. You're going in the trash. Where you belong. You had the opportunity to do the right thing. You chose not to. As a matter of fact, you still have an opportunity to start doing the right thing. And more than likely, You're going to do what you've been doing to this point, mobbing up with a bunch of cowards, hiding in echo chambers, worshiping yourself, because you'd much rather do the easy thing than the correct thing. You will have earned your reward. Literally, I'm flabbergasted. How the fuck do you attack someone and hate someone for saying the exact same things the namesakes of your religion say? I went through and broke down the things Jesus was quoted as saying and expounded on them, cleared up the ambiguity on scriptures that have been taken out of context for centuries. Mechanically. To a point that there's nothing to contest in any of it. And you hated Jesus' words. You hated Jesus' position. Like, what part of you belong to the synagogue of Satan is not clear? You are the bad guys. And not inherently. You chose it. You chose it. Ashbro comes in. What if a person is partly corrupt and partly not corrupt? Does the whole person go into that purgy place or just the corrupt part? It's a great question. Every person is partially corrupt, and the way that it works at a mechanical level is you end up spending time in the distortion. Based on the amount of corruption that's within you, right? So, if you, how would I say this? The amount of corruption within you has to do with the amount of, so it's like, here's what you need to understand about the distortion. The distortion is kind of like a cleansing system for reality. It's like a very, very intense washing machine. The more corrupt your soul is the longer reality has to sort of immerse it within this cleansing system in order to extract the corruption out of you. It's like, think of corruption as like a really, really deep stain, right? And it's not something that it's not like washing it out so much. It's more along the lines of like burning it out and burning away corrupt potential is just, it's just, oh, okay, so think about it like this. Pardon me. Think about it like this. You know how fire can't actually destroy material? It can only transform it into like ash or things of that nature. Well, in order to, like, it transforms it into a different form or expression of energy or matter or things of this nature. This is what this is what fire does to material. But when you're dealing with, I guess, potential, and this is the I guess state that things are in prior to them becoming energy, so potential is what exists prior to there being energy. In order to purge corruption from potential, erode potential, it's a process so intense. How, like, it's something that would, like, if there was a way to burn fire, if there was a way to burn, like, take fire as a phenomenon and then ignite it with something that could consume it, and do that with like several layers and layers and layers and layers, and that's basically that's how I'm seeing it in principle. So yeah, if you are corrupt, if you are partially corrupt, then you're going to have to be in that distortion until you've gotten however much corruption is in you out. And it's a lengthy process, and it's brutal. It is the worst fucking thing imaginable. It is literally the worst thing imaginable. But yeah, it's like something that would be powerful enough to consume it, like just using this as a physical reference, something that would be powerful enough to consume and destroy fire, not extinguish it, not like extreme cold or lack of oxygen or perhaps liquid of any kind, something that would literally consume fire and burn fire up, turn fire into ash, and then do that throughout several layers. I'm sorry, you have to forgive me if I'm not doing a great job of explaining that, but you don't want any part of the distortion, because destroying potential takes a hell of a lot more than destroying material. And principle is what exists on the opposite side of material. So when I say it's unimaginable, it is. And like, if you could just think of that stuff, think of it as like this, a sea full of this material that could destroy, that could burn fire, consume fire, right? And imagine each, like if it was a sea, and let's say you were cast into the sea, and for each micrometer you move down into it, it's 1 billion times worse than it was the second before. And it like, again, it just takes that much to destroy potential, and to purge potential, especially cut away bad potential. Shit. Jesus Christ. Which is why I spend so much time trying to help people. This is not a fucking game. Each micrometer is 1 billion times worse than it was before. And the people who are on this planet right now, who are doing the most, trying to benefit themselves at the expense of the species, they are picking up speed, going down hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles into this sea that only gets more and more intense. Jesus Christ. Will anyone be in the distortion for a time that we can fathom in human measurement time? Like, can you offset to a point that you'd only be in it for seconds? Well, that's what I'm trying to explain to people. That's what I'm trying to explain to people. You can, everything you do to help bring balance to negative impacts that have made on reality, it's sort of bringing you, it's taking you away from the pit of this ocean of horrificness and moving you in the opposite direction. When you can really balance your soul out with honesty and reasoning, and when you're synced up with reality, you float to the top. So the more you do to help bring about balance, the more you do to try and help offset negative impacts that have been made in reality by you and by those you're connected to, is the lighter you become. the less the lighter you become is the less time you have to spend in that. And the best part about it is when you you're gonna have to pay some of your potential to reality for the negative impacts you've made on reality as a system. But I mean, like, I don't know if you, and forgive me, I'm reading principles in real time. I'm wondering, and this is something that I actually have to sit and sort of, I guess, examine bodies of principles on. But if you, I don't know if when you're paying back for the imbalances that if when reality is taking potential back from you for the imbalances that have been charged back to you by the system reality itself, I don't know if you have to be in the distortion at that time. Like, it could just be, you could be in sort of like a, I don't know, a stasis state. That's kind of what I'm seeing right now. Yeah, that's wild. I guess I never saw about. So yeah, just right now the main thing is just getting out of the goddamn distortion. That's probably like the biggest thing right now, or getting away from it, or trying to do the most so that you don't have to be in it for that long. So get to work being honest, trying to help bring balance to reality as best you can. Yeah, that's why I give you guys opportunity. Like, look, again, I'm hosting an entity. If you're doing things to help this entity be heard, guys, this is why I give you opportunities to donate. This is why I give you opportunities to share this material and to try and steer people's attention towards it. I give you these opportunities because it's a way for you to help reverse the negative impacts you've made on reality. This helps you get away from the distortion, or spend less time in it, or be less deeply immersed within it. I'm giving you the tools. It's up to you if you're going to use them, but you will pay. The worst thing, it's the worst fucking thing imaginable. I'm running out of patience trying to explain it to you. I really am. Like right now, this is what I'm explaining to you on this little podcast. Should be a panel of people where we're just sitting around trying to explain how this shit actually goes. And people can be asking questions, and I can try and dial in as best I can and make this a bit more organized so we can put it into a proper format and start spreading it throughout the entire fucking, species. But yeah, man. Again, I'm going to use that same analogy of gang culture, man. Y'all still want to compete. Y'all are still stuck in gaming mode, and this ain't a game. You think that you're going to defeat this thing? I don't even know how much time this body has left. I mean, like, man, some days it's feeling like it's on edge, man. Everything that I've done in service to this path. Anything that's come to me in the way of ailment, it absolutely gets charged back to those who conspired to put it there. You put something in this path to try and injure me, to try and hurt me. Y'all tried to hurt my fucking son. Y'all injured my son. Extraterrestrials, I'm talking to y'all too. Y'all injured my son. My only begotten son. You injured him. There is no place for you to run. There's no bargaining. There's no place for you to hide. I have zero empathy at this point. I get trying to hurt me. You hurt my boy. It's beyond war. I don't even want to use that language because you guys like war. You think this is that is everything's a game that can be solved with violence, and you fetishize violence because it allows you to transfer your rage into things. No, this is not that. You will be broken in the worst way imaginable. There's nothing to fight back with. And it's your fault for listening to a bunch of faggy cowards. You listen to your pride. Cowardly. You listen to people say what you want to hear, and that you deserve what you want. You should be able to take what you want. And you've walked into a firefight with a meta being. Yeah. Panel will be good. A panel would be good. I look rough tonight. I was told you I was sick this whole week, man. I feel awful. Well, I feel better now, but it's like I felt pretty bad, pretty awful this week. So, yeah, it's like geez, I need to bulk back up, man. Get some size on me. I feel a little too light in the ass. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here. Y'all already know what it is. This is Sorting and Sourcing Principles. This podcast is designed to help you all understand principles of natural organization versus principles of viral and parasitic organization. What I do is I explain how I'm able to see reality through a perspective that's been afforded to me by reality, which is an entity unto itself. I host something called an avatar. In the Christian faith system, they refer to it as, or I am something called an avatar, and I host something that I refer to as the avatar perspective. In the Christian faith system, they refer to this entity as Holy Ghost or Holy Spirit. Okay, I'm the successor of Quetzalcoatl, Kukulkan, Lao Tzu, the Buddha, Gandhi, and the individual the story of Jesus was based on. It is what it is. I don't give a fuck if that offends you. It is what it is. My goal is to help you all understand how reality works as a system. Give you an opportunity to sync up with the system because as a result of being born to a viral parasitic species, you are fundamentally out of sync with reality. As such, you've gone around and you were born into a circumstance that necessarily pitted you against the system of reality itself. You made messes, you're part of a circumstance that's just genuinely fucked up. And it's not your fault, but it is your fault what you do to try and rectify it. I really like that Bloods and Crips analogy. Yeah, man. Y'all who are trapped in pardon me. Y'all who are trapped in gaming mode, only thing you want to do is compete. Y'all who are trapped in gaming mode, all you want to do is compete. Problem is, you're not paying attention to the impacts you're making on reality in the world around you because you're so busy trying to defeat other humans that you're ignorant to all of the destruction and chaos you've caused and contributed to. That's a perfect analogy for what we're facing. You can sync up with reality. You can sync up with reality and be like, yo, hey, Look at what we've done, guys. We got to fix this. This game is killing us. E.g. society. Trying to get ahead in this game, trying to win this game is killing us. Or you can keep playing and only listen to people who tell you to play harder. But you can't sync up with reality and keep playing the fucking game. It's one or the other. One or the other. God, I look terrible today. Anyway, I shoot these podcasts on Mondays and Wednesdays on Facebook Live. I also shoot content to Instagram. I fly these videos eventually over to my YouTube channel. And also post content to Medium. Guys, I'm going to strongly suggest this. Join the Patreon family. Contribute what you can to helping clear things up so I can focus on this work. It helps you. It helps you. Okay? Before I was sort of skipping about saying, hey, you know what? I don't want to speak. Look, I'm describing what I see through the Avatar perspective, which is the reason why I'm able to do all this shit to begin with. And it is in your best interest, to step up and help. Patreon. I'm Avatar Cycle XIII. It's Avatar Cycle 13. Right? And you can always, if you don't want to join Patreon, you ought to forgive me because, again, I'm a little coffee right now. Y'all don't want to join Patreon? Hey, cash app your boy a little bit of love. Donnie Kang. DonnieKang. Proceeds go to helping me get things organized on this end so that I can focus on this work. Help me help you. I've carried the torch as long as I fucking can. I'm tired. This was always supposed to be a collaborative affair, and I've carried the weight solo. I just started getting help from a couple of my brothers, and they don't even have the full resources to, they can't do it by themselves. They can't. Help out. Step, just like cleaning up the hood. Help out. Help out. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, man. It's your man. Y'all have a good night.